when you finish your knitting, you'll have several shapes that need to be stitched together in order to form the garment. So you take your pieces as per the pattern recommends and you match them up so that they're both up the right way. You've got the stitches facing the same direction, and you've got generally your cast off rows at the top and your cast on rows at the bottom. You thread a needle onto your tail. Usually it's the same colour as your work, but in this case I wanted to show you quite clearly what was going on. So I take my thread that's attached to one piece and I attach it to the next. You can see if I hold these on their sides that you've got a row of stitches coming down one side and that matches the row of stitches going down the other side, and we want these to meet nicely and flatly and plainly to form almost an invisible seam. So I've come out of that top stitch and I'm going to find that stitch on this side, that top stitch, and match it by going through the middle. And then I'm going to bring my needle through the next stitch down. And I'm going to find the second stitch on this side and push the needle through. Then I'm going to find the third stitch and bring my needle up. You want to come up through the holes in the stitches, not through the wool, if you can help it. So down into the third stitch on this side. Up through the fourth. Down through the fourth. Up through the fifth. Down through the fifth. Up through the sixth. Down through the sixth. Up through the seventh. Down through the seventh. Up. Down. Up. Down. And you can see that there's this ladder forming. If you hold the ladder at the end and gently bring up your stitches, they'll get tighter and they'll close that seam, just like this. Another way to do it is just by gently holding and pulling that tail, but sometimes it can be a little bit tricky and puckery, so you might need to manipulate it just a little bit. Sometimes it's easier just to pull quite tightly and then gently ease the thread. So now you can see, well, can you see? Yes, you can. Where the two pieces of fabric have met, but it's nice and smooth on this side. And if I turn it over, you can see that it's formed this really neat seam on the back there. To finish up, I've reached my cast on row down the bottom of the fabric. Could be that you've reached the cast off row if you've gone in the opposite direction. I'm just going to poke the thread through. Just like this, because I want to close up that bottom connection, just like that. So you can tell if it was, in the same colour, you wouldn't even notice. Turning it over again. And then this time I am actually going to go through the knitting rather than finding holes, just because I want to secure the thread. I'm not going all the way through the fabric because I don't want this thread to be seen randomly on the front. And again, just in a couple of directions, just gently pulling it to secure it. And then I'm going to snip. I like to leave a tail because sometimes with, you know, where fibers move, so it's good that it's not really tight and chopped as close as possible, so that'll give the seam a little bit more security. And that's how you do mattress stitch.